my gosh.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Mayor Joe Taylor Show. Oh, sometimes I should delay. We should have just been late instead of on time.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Just give it another
Oh, swipe right.
5. Swipe that.
Swipe. Would you swipe, Jerry? Did you swipe?
I can't. Yeah, I can't with you.
I know.
No.
I can't today.
Jerry's serious, Jerry, today.
Well, you see him. He's got his new. He's got his new driver.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
got a new 3-wood. He's
New
got
putter.
his new putter.
Yeah. Can't tell him anything.
No, can't tell him.
You know what the problem is? Same old swing.
He can't fix that.
I heard a guy on the PGA on the Valspar this week. They were aggravated about JT and the guy he was playing with on Saturday. They were talking too much.
Yeah.
He said they're 40 yards away. They should not be talking like that. He talks all the time, right?
Yeah.
So the other guy, he's a British guy. He played in PGA. He was commentating as well, and he made the statement. He said that exact phrase. He goes, "No matter what kind of clubs you have, they'll never fix your swing."
That's right.
And I got the new irons too, Joe. I got the Tacoma, the new
I
Tacoma
saw
Mark
those last
IIs.
time in.
Yeah.
So you're just full all new equipment.
I am. Yeah, it's about
I
time.
hope it helps.
It's been a lot. It will. It will.
It better
I'm confident. I'm confident. It's just I had to totally, from you can find out weight loss
Oh, yeah.
changes your swing.
Oh yeah,
It does.
Surgeries.
You can get around.
I gotta change stuff.
Yeah,
I'm still swinging
Camp's
my-
struggling with the same thing. He's lost some weight and he's just struggling with the fact that he can't pull his swing back together.
Is he pulling through the ball?
It matters.
I
Man.
think that's the thing is he's starting to shank it a little bit. And he can't figure out his distance to the ball. And,
You were hitting it off the heel because
I
you were.
was.
That's right. I'm getting through the ball.
Yeah.
he's getting inside that hip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Get in there close.
Yeah, my
Got
wife
ribs
likes it.
now, buddy. Got ribs.
You got ribs.
Get them ribs.
Spandex. All spandex.
Okay. That's for a DC trip.
Yeah, that was. Yeah,
that was
totally
really
different
good.
deal there. Swap that thing.
I
We
want
love
to.
you.
Can I say this
Yeah,
before
go
we get started?
Yeah.
The picture you took with your counsel,
Mhm.
epic, sharp,
Always.
sophisticated,
Always.
on point. That was a little bit gangster.
Yeah, I think it is. I think that's one of the things that I'm so lucky to have is I have a counsel that, and I look, I'm not their daddy, kind of.
A lot of people's
But
daddy.
but they'll take some instruction.
Sure.
And it's really just that we want to always present ourselves at the level that we're going to, not to drop down. We're not trying to look like we're poor or whatever. We're trying to go in and find that level of success. And luckily, my counsel just naturally that they're going to wear the coat and tie when it's necessary and it is a bit of a requirement. I mean, you'll hear those guys say that I get onto them a little bit, and there are times when I'm just giving them some upfront instruction of when we go here, this is what I'd like, this is our dress code. And I'll put that out. This is what we're wearing.
You should have had hoodies like Fetterman and just said Rainbow
Yeah,
City.
Rainbow
that's right.
City.
RBC, yeah.
And the cap too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like the
yeah.
FBI cap, the
Yeah.
RBC.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So no, I think that's the thing is that I've heard from enough of the congressmen and senators that they do expect an appropriate dress code when you come up there. I mean, we're in the most important buildings in the world, not in the United States. Those are the most important buildings in the world, and obviously they're the most powerful people in the world, and that shouldn't require you to tell somebody. And I don't anymore. Like I'll get a text from Jameson or from Clark, and they'll say coat and tie, and that's just it's a simple lead, and now it comes from them. They know that I'm going to always wear a suit when I go to those buildings, and they're not required to wear a full suit. They can wear a sports coat, but we're going to wear ties on certain days. You can open collar at night at dinner, but even with that, I'm starting to pick up that. There was one dinner that we went to, and I think I was the only person not wearing a tie, which showed that they've taken to that decorum and the appropriate behavior for the situation. And I'll tell you, it gets you so many miles down the road.
Sure it does.
Where did Coach
It's
get
respect.
that state championship soccer tie? I was impressed with that.
Oh, yeah.
Did you really?
No.
No, but if he could
should
get one,
get him one.
if
We
he
should
could
get
get
one.
one printed up, I promise you he would.
We
There's
should-
no doubt about it.
Hey, so your man Cody Laster said,
Yep.
"Good morning, fellas. Watching y'all while he's standing in line at Hollywood Studios at Disney."
That's right.
Oh.
That dude is
Fun.
dude. I can't say enough about Cody and just the fact that, I put him and Brent Elrod in leadership down there over our street department.
Yeah.
And there's nothing else to say.
It's
It's all
incredible.
getting done.
Got that.
And even when people are beginning to fire back on certain things, we had somebody say that we had left a crossover where we'd done some drainage project, left it unpaved. I'm not going to leave that there and just let somebody say we don't care.
I read
There's
that.
a reason why we do those things, and it's growing pains, and we have to consider those things, and I think that's one thing that I can say out of Cody is I love him, and he's got a smart mouth at the same time.
That's why you like him.
Which just makes him more like me,
So, hey, his journey to get there was tragic.
Yes.
Right. He needs a couple extra days.
He does.
I got you, Cody.
Look, I've never seen anybody cry so much about an airport than Cody Lassiter.
He went straight to Trump.
Yeah,
he's blaming everybody.
He blamed everybody and their mother.
Administration.
Yeah, I thought I was going to get thrown in at some point. Where Joe Taylor did this, he's in D.C. He didn't have to wait.
Well, he knows where. He knows
where to draw that line.
Hey, so what's going on currently in the city with construction and the red lights and all that? A lot of stuff going on. You just get on Facebook and everybody's complaining, but they won't be complaining when it's finished.
They won't. I mean, we're a part of a TSMO. Again, I don't know what that stands for. It's something about traffic integrated.
We'll take it.
Signaling something operation. But anyway, basically, it's something that I've been talking about. We got the grant and got approval to be a part of that TSMO project probably about 2.5 years ago. And I think that's something that probably people need to hear. When I rarely come out and announce something. I'll never announce something that's not going to happen.
Right.
Because that'll come back and bite you later on. And but we are told to announce things at certain interval, and that one was about 2 years ago. We made the announcement for ALDOT, and then ALDOT goes to work in creating the system, and then bidding out the system, doing the engineering, planning, and that kind of thing. And now we're to the date where we start, which was at the beginning of this week. But it's a AI integrated camera system that will change the signals. So there's no stacking. There's no problem with left and right turns. I mean, look, we got 30,000 people in that intersection a day. That's an insane number of people trying to pass through a single intersection. But with use of this, it should back up and make it seem like we have 15,000. And then the secondary part of that is that over on Church Street, and I announced this probably, I think it's about 1.5 years or 2 years ago, we got I think we got a little over $1 million, $1.2 million, $1.4 million that was going to the Church Street project, which was right next to where Scooters is now built. There'll be a traffic signal, and everybody loves to talk about traffic signals until they get one, then they go, "Why'd you put a traffic signal?"
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's because traffic engineers are smarter than me. I don't know another way of putting it in there. They're way smarter than y'all.
Oh yeah,
hey.
So I guess just
he knows us.
Learning to accept that I don't know everything, and that I have to turn that over to people that have incredible levels of education in this and experience.
Yeah.
That's another thing that's going to allow for especially the people of Southside to be able to bypass our intersection going north to Gadsden or going to work or wherever they're going. It's just it's a way for us to take that intersection that has kind of become a little bit of an albatross around our neck. It's a way to take that intersection and kind of back up time and make it seem like there's less traffic. And that's a temporary fix. We know that with the city growing at the level that it's growing now, and we're growing at just in revenue alone at right around 16% a year, which is double digits, and that's unheard of. I mean, it just doesn't happen anywhere else, but it's happening here.
You like the fact that he had to make reference that it is double digits, 16%?
That's right.
He just threw off on us, man.
He did.
Not being smart.
We're not smart enough, so he figured
I set the table.
He needed to tell us it was double digit. Hey, so not even the great Joe Taylor could do anything about the pollen.
I can't do it, man. I'm telling you, if I could rid this place of pollen, we'd have a big fan right on top of this place to blow it out. But no, it's killing me too. Makes my voice change.
Hey, do you want to speak to everyone was releasing information about new internet grants and so forth? Are you up to speed to be able to talk about that?
I mean, a little bit. Those are outside infrastructure that
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of control over. I mean, I write support letters, and we've been writing support letters and have done that in the past. We had 3 big tranches of money that came from the governor's the system that she had put together of spending. I don't remember. It was a couple of $1 billion on middle mile for infrastructure, internet infrastructure, and we got our portion of that. I'll look to see us get another portion, and so we'll just support the companies that are going after that money. There's a little bit of that money that'll be set aside that we'll be able to go after, and we'll do that as well, hoping that we can strengthen our system.
You guys are. I just look. I pulled up my phone.
You have to get away. I'll leave mine in my pocket.
I should not have looked at it.
Right. Who's going after me now?
Nobody.
No.
But going back to what you said about your city council class,
yes,
I just saw something from another
Yes.
municipality.
Okay.
From a leader. You guys are classy, and I'm
Thank
so
you.
thankful.
I appreciate
I'm so
that.
thankful that we are a part of a city that represents this city well.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
And I think that's one of the deals that we had a conversation in D.C., with my council and I think all of them were there. Maybe Clark wasn't, because Clark has a whole another platform that he deals with there, because he's on the national board for the League of Cities.
Yeah.
And so there's times when he'll kind of be away from us, but then he comes back over. But I think our conversation was more about, we're not representative, and we were up there with Southside, and and spent some time in the offices of the Congress and Senate, just trying to pitch our area. But my council represents this area, and they know now that they have to represent this area well. So I believe that they're rising to that occasion. We kind of carry water for other people at times, because the region is growing so fast, but it's growing off of our benchmark. We're setting the pace for this region, but nobody wants to hear that. But I only say that because it's true.
True. Right. Well, that looked like it was somebody going to an El DeBarge concert.
I mean, what?
It was great.
What in the
It was
what was I
great.
looking at?
Hey, so Joe Taylor's giving me Nate Oates vibes.
Yeah, he does got that
He
smooth jacket on.
does.
Okay.
Nate, if it
Hey,
was crimson and
Yeah.
That's not off the rack, Andrew.
No,
that ain't off the
sir.
rack.
Don't be thinking.
Hey, John Henry Hill Jr. says, good morning. Good to see
morning.
everybody.
What's up, buddy?
Brett Tyler Smith's got a lot of bad comments because we didn't let him know we were coming on.
Oh, come on, Brett.
Brett,
Get on.
Cody Laster said, Joe Taylor for D.C., but I want him to run it out of Rainbow City. He already does run it out of Rainbow
Guys,
City.
I need to ask a serious question. Can I pull off the mustache like Brett Tyler?
No.
I talked to my kids.
No.
Will wants me to do the handlebar. Should I?
You can, but man, you got that goatee that's got those different shades in
I mean,
it.
I got that youth pastor goatee.
That's right.
All you need is the Axe spray. You're straight in your pastor.
I'm telling you, if you didn't put conditioner in that thing would have some swirl in it. It has some finger waves.
Hey, you can do whatever you want to now, because for the next 4 years, you already voted in. We went through that, right? With association.
I could do the
For the
handlebar.
next 4 years, you do whatever you want, dog.
See, you're saying with me, I got to fool right now.
Yeah, man.
Because they already put
years.
me in.
But if I go home,
4 more years.
dang,
Oh, yeah, your wife's going to handle business.
there'll be no sugar, I guess.
That's right.
Anyway.
Hey, Johnny Cook's watching. He's going to be on with us Thursday, by the way.
Okay.
He's got stories, man.
I'm
Everybody's been in the car business that long.
Yeah.
Got stories.
Yeah, how long has it been in the car business?
God, I mean,
He had about 20-something
He's
years
70.
just in his job.
Yeah,
In
just
his place.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. And his dad's an old Baptist.
70?
Yeah. And his dad's an old Baptist pastor.
Oh, okay.
No, he got
that's your old pastor.
Yeah, when I was a boy.
Yeah.
It's my parents' best friends.
Didn't he go to y'all's wedding?
Her uncle.
Her uncle.
He's went on in.
He gone
He
on.
gone in.
He probably looked and said, "What did I do?"
Well, what am I doing?
That upper room.
Yeah, but
Upper room.
hey, but 28 years later,
What's up in
it's
there?
still stuck. Only because she makes bad decisions, but it's still. Oh, that's my. Hey, it's my doctor call. I'll call you back.
He'll hit
He's
you back.
usually watching.
Not man. They're so busy now.
Oh, I bet they are.
I got blood work in, I'm sure, test results. So they'll let me know how I'm doing, Joe.
There you go. You'll be good. I can do that from here.
Yeah.
And just send them to Copay.
Yeah, send the copay.
You ain't gonna
He
ain't gonna make it.
Fine.
Speaking of doctors, you guys are loaded. Rainbow City is loaded with positions.
We are.
You just had a Alabama pediatrics.
That's right.
Just
Alabama
celebrated,
Pediatrics.
15 years or something.
Right.
Like that.
And and we've just got we've got a really wide swath of different kinds of disciplines. We've got the largest orthopedic group here now with the NEO and Sparks going in together.
Whom I just
right here
left.
on Rainbow Drive.
That's where I was at before this.
Oh wow! See, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they vacated their building, or when NEO left their building on Highway 77, I had a really good relationship with Birmingham Heart Clinic, good friend of mine, a guy that lives here in Rainbow City, one of the doctors, Jason Thompson. They do summer here, and then they do school year down there in Mountain Brook with their kids. But they'll eventually move back up here. But we're going to have we have 5 cardiologists that are seeing patients here in Rainbow City now. They're doing all of their diagnostics and testing and surgery in Birmingham, which is kind of the model of people that are using Birmingham physicians now. So, but they're taking away some of that distance and allowing us some convenience of not having to go to Birmingham. So it's a good deal. We have all kind of behavioral and therapy physicians and I guess they're doctors. I don't know, the practitioners.
Yeah.
We have a ton of practitioners here. Gaston Regional just opened a family practice down on Sutton Bridge Road. That's where I go to the doctor, and you got Angela and Yvonne down there, and they're doing really, really good work. And I don't know how much longer they can last. Their building's too small, and I don't think they expected they were going to grow so fast. So, those are the kind of things that we're finding out now that 5 years ago when I first started, people would come down here and they'd take the building that was available. Now they're having to make decisions about, hey, we got to find us a bigger place. And that's why we're seeing so much construction lately.
Yeah.
People they're looking for a piece of property.
You got an amazing counselor right next to City Hall down there.
Oh, yes.
That group there.
Yes, no doubt.
They do great work.
Well, I think we have maybe 3 or 4 counseling groups that are they're the top tier people. And they're doing different types. They're doing adolescent, which we need so much.
Sure.
And then we've got the lady that deals with special needs, down here right across from City Hall, and her work with autism and all those specialty type syndromes is just unmatched.
Yep.
And she's just good. She just does really good work.
And then you got doctors coming in here like crazy, and then you got these financial groups coming in.
What is the hospital service there in that shopping plaza? Is it Riverview or?
Yeah, that's Gadsden Regional.
Oh, Gadsden Regional. Yeah,
Regional imaging.
So convenient.
Another thing that's just kind of grown and that I talked to Will Mackey. That's their advertisement guy, and he's the one that we're kind of coordinate this ribbon cutting on that thing on Sutton Bridge. The hospitals and medical treatment is just growing, and they're actually beginning to evolve and do things in a better way. Yeah. So that they do offer more practitioner work. Which I would rather go to a nurse practitioner when it's something that's very minor than I had to go and wait for hours to see a doctor. Yeah. And the Gadsden Regional family practice down there is so efficient. I mean, they're just really, really fast. Yeah. And that's what you want.
We got the living situations, apartments booming up.
Yeah, Johnson's Apartments called us maybe yesterday. I think they called Karen yesterday and said, hey, we're about to start taking applications for their apartments. Mac Johnson, y'all know Mac. Mac and them decided that they were going to put together some living opportunity for people. And man, they did a good job.
Yeah.
These apartments are so nice.
They came up quick too.
Yep. And then we got Cobblestone that'll be opening pretty soon. That's Trent Thrasher's project, him and Chloe. And then we have Wyatt Lee that opened back about this time last year. And man, that's such a good community. We have a lady that comes to our council meeting that lives down in that community, and she is continually thankful that council, my council, was open to multifamily housing for seniors. And there's a lot of communities they're missing the mark And we're very close to one that the community is so close-minded to multifamily housing. And I'll just be honest with you, it's a very simple economic development position that you have to take. If you don't have some apartments, some rental property that's not single family housing, you're not going to have service workers.
Yeah.
So your
Right.
workforce development is stymied by the fact that you're unwilling to open people up. So if you want business, you better want some apartments.
Yep.
Now, I can say this. People will go, well, apartments is where all the trouble is. I don't know where you're coming up with that when you're sitting in the safest city in the state of Alabama.
There you go.
And we have apartments all over the place.
Mhm.
There's a place for everyone. Everyone deserves good housing in the United States. And that's one of the things that Mike Bolton, Mike and I have been friends since we were kids, but Mike's our nuisance abatement guy. And Mike is there, yes, to enforce ordinance and yes, to enforce law and that kind of thing. But Mike's there because he has a heart for people.
That's right.
He's an advocate for people that live in, whether it's single family, multifamily, whether they're the owner, whether they have some sort of mental illness that's tied to the way they can't take care of themselves.
Right.
Mike is there to be your advocate. And I think when you hear nuisance abatement officer, it kind of scares people away. But if you've ever been around Mike, you'll find out that guy has a true heart for people.
Jeff
And
Prince.
if he heard me saying this, he'll be very upset.
Jeff Prince, hey, that's my mayor.
That's it.
Johnny Cook said Rainbow City is a great role model for all the cities with a classy group of leaders in office.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I'm not going to include myself, but I've got 5 guys that want to do good work. I mean, they.
Talk a little bit about the education corridor.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that we went up and placed an appropriation in D.C. about is the widening of Lumley Road. Now, I have to go ahead and say everybody's going to say, well, it's needed it for 10 years. I couldn't agree with you more. Every road we have here right now needs to be widened by at least 3 or 4 lanes. But let's go back to the truth of it. And this is the way, I guess you would say the formula for ALDOT is prove your need.
Yeah.
And first, now you can say, well, that's stupid. But I can't disagree with their parameters, the way they look at traffic, because here's the thing. Every single mayor that would sit in this place is going to say that their city's growing. Even when it's not.
Sure.
They're still going to say it's growing. So, that's why I try to give a number.
Double digit.
But yes, it's double
16%,
digits. It's 16%, and I can back that up with the amount of money that we started out with and where we are now in revenues. And so, if you go from $9 to $10 million to now $22 to $24 million, I promise you, your city's growing.
Yeah.
And you can go do the math. If it don't come up at 15 to 16%, I'll eat the microphone. And I'm not hungry, but I will find
never
out.
eat anymore.
But what we'll find out in dealing with ALDOT is that when we go to them, they require, we want traffic study. We want a
Makes
preliminary engineering plan. And, all of those things are things that I have to go out and get. But for me as a businessman, and that's all I've ever done previously to this, a couple of other things, but my primary goal was to find a way to make good for my family. Mm-hmm. And in doing so, I learned some business traits and understanding of business that put me in a spot that I think I'm a little bit further ahead when it comes to my job here as the mayor. But when we go, we have to carry them a very sealed up package.
Yeah.
And we get to put that right at the feet of either the Congress and Senate or at the ALDOT director himself. And Mr. Cooper, John Cooper, is a incredible ALDOT director, and he can hear you, but you cannot fool him because he'll already know if you say you've got 18,000 people on the road. At his fingertips, there's a guy sitting next to him pulling those numbers up on a big screen. You better be right when you walk in there, because the worst thing you can do is, you can't lie to him. You better not bully him, because he doesn't have to take it. He has the no answer, and it comes out with a quickness. And so I think that if you were to hear people talk about traffic and highways and problems, just understand, until I can prove we have a problem, it's not going to be satisfied by ALDOT. So, and you'll hear mayors, they love to blame ALDOT. I'm a big ALDOT proponent. Right now, I have millions of dollars that have been committed from ALDOT to Rainbow City. You're going to be hard pressed to get me to say anything bad about ALDOT, and it's not because I'm kissing up. It's because I'm seeing that if I do my work, and this is what they need to hear, if I'm doing my hard work as the mayor, and I'm supported by a very concerned council, you're going to win every time.
Right.
And that's what's happening here. So this is not that hard.
Some may say you need to widen the road because of the market on Lumley.
No doubt about it. I mean, another pop-up business that came out of our community market.
Yeah.
I mean, they're selling, baked goods and different kinds of like drinks and different things like that. And it's just one of those little niche markets that this city needs, because we do have a little bit higher income.
Yeah.
And so there's a little more disposable money out there in Rainbow City that needs to be taken up.
I have a request here online. It says, "Hey, Mayor, can you annex South 11th Street into Rainbow City?
That's not what he said.
Just a small sliver. I'll behave," he says.
Yeah, I know. And he would be able to tattoo
He would be.
Rainbow City.
Yeah, he would be.
Hey, he's diversified. Brothers in Glencoe.
He can do anything.
South
He everywhere.
He says, "I know a certain city near and dear to me that needs a complete overhaul."
Uh-oh.
Why haven't we had him on the show yet?
We need to. Matter of fact,
man,
call Jerry today. It's happening.
This
It's
room
happening.
won't hold him.
It will.
Dude, I'm sorry.
Hey, his videos are the best.
Oh yeah, he's hilarious.
I've known him since he was in elementary school.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
We
good
gotta
one.
have him on for sure.
Okay.
Are y'all trying to break something out on me because it got quiet?
No.
We had that uncomfortable moment, that normally follows where y'all light me up. make
Look,
me
I
mad.
got on the conversation in my mind. I want to talk to you about what kind of birthday parties you like to have.
Okay.
I just got a lot of stuff in my mind.
Yeah, there's
now.
got stuff on your
I just
mind.
got-
I have a quick meeting we have to have as soon as the show's over. All right.
There are times when hate just
Sorry.
boils up in me. Oh, I got it. I'm back now.
You back?
Hey,
He back.
let me get a
Yeah, go and get the go.
McDonald's.
That come from Rusty's store?
Yeah, or one of these.
I thought we could have a whiteout.
Well, hey,
Came from Rusty's and
yeah.
Rusty's just broadened his opportunity.
How's Miss Karen, by the way?
Oh, she's great. I'll tell you, I don't think, and I was actually talking to a friend of mine this morning about how important having a great assistant is. When I came there, she was a secretary that basically just printed out the emails and carried them to the mayor for him to read them and throw them in the trash. And now, Karen is our full-time grant writer. She's my assistant. She acts on a board for Etowah Chamber of Commerce and does a really, really good job. And she's the lady that I can 100% say aligns up the same as I can with, and I can say this about Rachel and her both. They don't tell what they know.
Mm-hmm.
And, in my case, Karen just yesterday, was privy to conversation that, or even just who comes in the building, because there's an ability to draw conclusion from who I meet with.
Sure.
And I'm not trying to say that I'm sitting down here having these high power meetings, but there are times when there are meetings that are critical to everything in this area that Karen will know what's going on, and instead of drawing conclusions and starting the rumor mill in the break room, she just keeps her mouth closed. And that kind of professionalism is just hard to beat. I honestly don't know what I would do.
Which starts even
if
more
I didn't have
rumors that no one's talking, which is great.
Yes.
It's a way to shake it up.
Yeah. And she's just a solid person. And, she keeps my calendar. We share a calendar. And just so you know, if you're going to send me any kind of stupid email, Karen sees that email at the same time that I do. And that's all accountability for she and I both. Our ability to be able to communicate well with people and nobody get missed out. And there are times when I'll miss a phone call or something. I owe you a phone call.
Jameson's awake.
We'll do that later. Huh?
Jameson's awake. He said, please put me on the prayer list. I was out of town with Joe for 7 days straight.
We've been praying for y'all.
Luckiest guy alive.
We prayed and fasted.
Yeah. Sent me encouraging notes. I mean, y'all always do that.
He did miss your call, didn't he?
No, he didn't miss it. I didn't call him back.
Yeah, call me back.
And I owe him.
But to be fair, he was in D.C. And he didn't big boy me either.
No.
He sent me a little quick.
Oh, Joe don't do. No. Joe don't big boy.
No.
Unless
I'm
he's
not.
trying to
Matter
be.
of fact, I knew you were there, and I forgot during that moment.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Crap.
He ain't around. Yeah.
He's not here.
Well, that's the thing is, I spent last week with Jameson, and look, he's thrilled to death about that. That's his time to be with Daddy. And I mean, every kid.
You just said you're not anybody's daddy.
I'm his daddy.
Wait, we're talking here. We're talking here.
He'll say it. So no, but I spent 7 days with Jameson. 5 of that in DC with my council, and then the week before I was in DC with I'm the president of East Alabama Regional Planning and Development Commission, and so I was up there asking for appropriations and really kind of getting. Lori Sokol's the executive director of that, and they're the people that they do Medicaid and Medicare waivers, and they take care of aging, and they deal with some mental health stuff. And they're a regional commission that takes in federal funding, but the one thing they can't do is they can't levy any tax and they can't make profit. And so we were up there looking at trying to get some help from Congress and the Senate to remodel their building, which is it's a federal and federal, state, and local asset. And we were just up there trying to get them in just a little bit better position to do for others. All they do is serve others.
Yeah.
And so they take care of all of our mapping for all the cities in the area, all the zoning requirements. They'll help you write comprehensive plans, especially for the smaller cities. But I was lucky enough to be up there with Mayor Warren from up in Cedar Bluff, and with Jay Howell from Center, and both of those guys got to see the system and how it works, and it was a good time.
There's
But
a
I
whole
spent about
separate
4
show
days.
going on in the comments.
Oh yeah,
Oh, great.
They are here for
Are
it.
they going after?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
That's okay. I mean,
Says, Jeff Prince said, Jameson Jenkins, we need you as trip director.
no doubt about it.
James said you were too busy when you're in DC asking him where you're supposed to be next.
That's right. I don't think that's unfair. I mean, Jameson's that guy. I mean, somebody's got to take a little bit of pressure off me. Jameson does that pretty well, and then Jeff Prince just laughs at me when I get upset, get a little bit fired up.
How can you not get in a good mood when you have those two guys around you?
Oh, yeah,
they're fun people.
They're a hoot, man.
They're nice.
Yeah,
Very,
but we got a chance to take our new council member. He's not the youngest, but he's the youngest in time.
Yeah.
Up there with Jerry Ramsey and kind of run him through DC and give him a chance to feel
Heck yeah.
comfortable. And he did very, very well. Jerry's a smart guy.
He take his ultra perm with him.
Oh yeah,
Spray.
oh,
Follow the drip.
Soul Glow.
Soul Glow. That's my Rod just had the plastic on the seats and everything.
Yeah, everything.
Roger's got perfect hair.
Hey,
Roger's got perfect.
you know he got that white rain. It looks
Just that
good.
white rain.
I mean,
Man.
yeah,
But yeah, we had a good time. I mean, we got a lot done, and I think that we'll see the fruits of our labor probably over the next few months.
I
as
don't
these
have any doubt.
appropriations roll back out.
Oh, and to line up the Uber Jeff Princess. He needs. So
Yeah,
that's the thing.
I caught one bad Uber up there, man, and it
Oh.
smelled like there'd been a bad night going on in it the night before, or they didn't get something out from under the seat. I don't know what was going on, but it hurt me.
I don't think Rainbow City needs to be letting their mayor Uber. I think he needs to be town card.
No
Yeah,
question.
I think so. Now I'm just going to tell you something. And my old boy Jameson's on there, and I don't normally give him a good strong plug, but me and him up there, we figure out that Uber deal, and we roll in that black SUV,
Mm-hmm.
and I can tell you why. It's actually cheaper.
Really?
Yeah, because they're in front of every hotel and in front of every governmental building. And so if you don't drop down that list, if you stay with that little compact, number one is I'm not getting in it. I'm not too proud. I'm just too big. But as far as that opportunity to get in that black car and show up, I'm going to do that every time because you can preference those guys to keep their mouth shut and not talk to you. And that helps us with Randy Weiss because he's going to automatically try to speak in Swahili or Portuguese or whatever to try to talk to these dudes.
No,
And he speaks about 4 languages. No kidding.
Huh?
Dude's got a lot. He's got a lot of head knowledge.
He does.
Big old head.
I mean,
Got a large head.
massive.
Yeah.
Massive.
Vices are known for the smartness.
Well, not all of them.
Well,
It skips a generation. I
Sure
heard.
did.
It's
skipped
skip
one
here
big time.
So I reached out to. I called Tim Ramsey yesterday.
Okay.
Took my call. He's in Guatemala.
Oh yeah. I
It's in
did.
Guatemala.
What's up? Yeah.
Wow.
And he took it.
Yeah.
Some of the other people didn't.
No.
Well, that's fair.
Ouch.
That's fair. I had never mind. We'll talk about that later.
No, go
I
ahead.
can't do it.
No, go
Jeff
ahead.
Prince says, keep going, Jeff. He likes that stuff.
Yeah.
No, not this one. He does not like this one.
Hey, so what's going on in the city of Rainbow City that we don't know about?
That you don't know about there.
That you can tell.
That I can tell?
Yeah, not that you
Okay.
can't. Yeah, well, what can you tell that most people don't know, besides Wendy's closed down?
This one closed? Another one at East Gadsden's gone.
Both of them
They out.
gone.
Really?
Yeah, I think they're going through a big transition.
Uh-oh.
But let me say this about when somebody goes out. I don't want to see that ever happen.
Sure.
But in this town, that is an opportunity for the
Mhm.
next thing.
Mhm.
You know, because the one thing we don't have right now is enough buildings. And I guess this would be a great time for me to talk to the developers of the world out there. If there's any online or anybody knows somebody, or you're going to see them at Christmas, you need to tell those people they need to get down here, because there is opportunity in this place for the next entrepreneur, the next businessman.
Right.
We've got some crazy good things happening in this city.
I did see someone yesterday walking
So
around.
I dodged your questions.
I knew
You do.
it. You walking around the Purple Onion
wouldn't know.
yesterday.
Yeah.
There was a guy.
Yeah, there's some time, there's a time factor there with Purple Onion, because it actually has a double lease on it. I don't blame the people. I don't like it that they've done this, but the people that own the building, they're getting paid from two different groups. So they're going to collect that until they fall outside of that lease time agreement, and then Purple Onion won't stay on the market. It won't stay on the market.
At least cut the grass, though.
Yeah. Well, and that's one thing that Mike's put a lot of pressure on them about that. And so they are keeping their place up better. But anyway,
Was there an M on the hat? Never mind. I'm just asking.
there's an M on this place. I promise you that's coming. It's coming in two different ways.
Coin Club
I told you all you
every
need to
Tuesday
know.
night.
Sorry.
Coin auction. Coin Club.
Coin Club. Yeah. We have the largest coin club probably maybe in North.
It says
North
coin
Alabama.
auction. How about that?
Do they have a little auction every
You're not
week?
allowed to go.
I don't go because my
Last time
problem
you
is
You
I
don't need
want
any
to
more
win.
hobbies. You don't need no more hobbies. You don't need
No.
no more. You got stuff going
I don't
on.
need to ever go to an auction, because I don't get in there to get a good deal. I go in to win, and that can get you in trouble.
Yeah, Jameson wants to be sure you're talking about the Church Street project.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
Who's
He
that,
come.
Jameson?
Yeah, he was late to the
You're
show.
late.
Yeah.
Hoss.
Well, he don't have you to make sure he gets there on time.
That's right.
So
Good grief.
Dang.
That's kind of embarrassing right there.
Hey, I was talking to somebody the other day about how many people and corporations and companies have got together to support this Challenger Center.
Oh,
How
good
awesome
grief.
is that? All these groups have got together and they're just is it $250,000? How much have they raised in this area?
Of what's been raised, it's just shy of $20 million.
20 million. 20.
that's amazing.
So, I mean, if you look at
Golly.
it, and the way that core group, that advisory council, and I'm lucky enough to be a member of that again, man, they're just workers. Everybody on that thing is trying to make this opportunity for kids, and to be a part of something like that. Jeff Prince is a big Challenger guy, and he was the guy that presented the thank yous in DC on behalf of Challenger. But man, it's just such a good deal. We're going to educate kids at that next level. We're going to begin to track them into their area of life, whether it be engineering, science, technology, the trades. All of that stuff's going to be at Challenger, and then to have Jacksonville State University come in as a partner, I'm telling you, that's a different deal. It becomes a bragging point for me. And Don Killingsworth and I had the honor to speak just the other day, or I had the honor to speak to him and talk to him just about how impressed people are when I can say that we have representation of a four-year university in our city. A city this size,
Huge.
we're not supposed to have those things. But I think that's what, going back to when you mentioned about medical and talking about, industrial growth, and now we're speaking about education. If you take those five big the big precursors to success, it's those three plus great leadership, and the last one is how do we create quality of life and quality of place, which would move into what this council has followed my lead, and I can't and I know I sound like I'm always shining my counsel on, but the truth is, they gave me a yes on building a multifunctional recreation center and aquatic center. And when you look at this thing, y'all, they finished the floor yesterday. It's totally different than anything anybody's ever seen around.
Epic. I heard
It is
epic.
epic.
Yeah.
And I'd love to carry y'all down there. I can carry you down there and run you through the place,
Sure.
but it's different looking. The same thing goes with Challenger. We've got people that are going through that place and they're coming out the other end with their mouths open, and it's because it's inspiring.
I saw your drone shots over the rec area.
Oh yeah,
man, that thing, it is.
Yeah, that was a
perfect. I love it.
That place is so much, man. It's hard to take in because people will say the way we positioned and we kind of turned the building I think it's about 25 degrees to make the building set on the property and look smaller. We wanted it to look smaller so that when you go in, it's amazing how large that building is. And it's 52,000 square feet. The footprint of the building, all total, is in the 70 to 80,000 range, including the pool, the splash pad, the amphitheater. It may go above 100.
Wow.
And then we have a ADA, compliant playground that's just going to have all the things for all the kids and a good place for the parents to sit down under a awning. So it's amazing for me because now it's becoming a point of pride. That we, in the good pride, that we were able to do that and do it and then pass it over to the people that live here. Mm-hmm. Just because it's just good. It's wholesome. Everything about that environment is going to be good and going to be good to keep our kids not only, and I hate to say first to keep them out of trouble. It's actually to keep them strong and fit. Yeah. And then the second thing is that will always help them to feel better about themselves and to be able to do greater things in life.
That's right.
Your number one city councilman, that would be JJ, says please go over
I like his self promotion.
Plug the Pancake Day and Cleanup Day, and he's picking Rachel up at 6.
Okay, yeah. Jameson is, and it's probably best to say it this way. He is a smart aleck. Oh, yeah. And so, but anyway,
one of his better qualities.
It is.
Someone say that.
I mean, he can almost dish it out with me. I mean, he's so close, and I worry about it when he surprises me, but with his sarcasm. But no, we got Pancake Day coming up. Jameson, myself, and Jeff Prince, we do all of the pancakes. We do all the cooking, and we may bring one of the kids from the Leos up and let them flip a few cakes, but for the most part we cook everybody's breakfast on that day, and I can't tell you what amount of fun we have. Yeah. It is so much fun because Jameson is a horrible cook, but he's got a good attitude.
There was a competition last year, right?
Yeah, I killed him,
but it wasn't a competition.
No.
I know when Kelly and I got there last year, the cooking group was sitting at their own table, just
they were done.
Oh, done. It was. Woof.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, because when you get started, I mean, you've got to turn out some product, and it goes back to my old days when I did work at Jack's and McDonald's, and it's I have a little flashback, a little PTSD,
a little copper tunnel.
Jeff Prince comment. Jameson has pancake envy.
He does, man. He does.
Classic.
It is.
That's good.
But the other thing is we do have cleanup day coming up soon, and just watch our signage, watch our social media. That's another day that thankfully is getting easier every time we do it because our city is so clean, and that's because of people going out and taking care of their property. I kind of got in a little bit of a spat on Facebook, which I don't mind.
It's my favorite thing.
I don't mind crawling out there, and people do like that. I don't know, I just can't stand for somebody to say something about my city or any associate in this city. You can wear me out, but don't you go after my people. Mm-hmm. I can't take it very well. But the guys, we were talking about Brown Avenue, and Brown Avenue is a cut through street for people that live down in the southern part of the city north of us, and they use that as their trash dumpster. But myself and Jameson's wife Claire, Rachel, we'll take Jeff Prince, JP will go with us, and he'll carry a couple of people with him, and we go down and clean up Brown Avenue twice a year, and it is horrible every single time.
Yeah.
And then in the interim time, we have Jonathan Horton has been so good to this city and every other city around here to keep our major roadways cleaned up, and that's one of the things that he allows, that his inmates go out and do that clean up. I don't know what we would do without Jonathan Horton in this county, and that people call that a political plug. Well, that's fine. I'm okay with it.
Couple
They're
things.
always out picking it up. I'm telling
yeah.
you, they are.
Yeah, and here's another thing. Let me hit this right quick.
I wish you would.
Jonathan Horton. Look, he's copying me just a little bit now, which I'm actually okay with, because a few years ago, I've always been involved with James Berry Center, and I kind of challenged all my friends in my birthday month to don't give me anything, don't buy my lunch, don't do any of that. Just make a donation towards the Berry Center, and in honor of me. Which
Right.
is that's an easy way to do it. You should be able to slip me $5 or $10. Get that change out of that ashtray, in which I found out we don't have ashtrays anymore in cars. I never really thought about it, but Jonathan Horton's doing the same thing this month, and that thrills me to death to know. And Patricia Falcon said last night that having me and Jonathan out there raising awareness, and secondly raising funding for that James Berry Center is it touched her heart. And you
then
can see
the Bash in the Bin.
Yes.
Great fundraiser. But I'll say that I'm gonna plug you for a second.
Okay.
The money Jonathan had donated went up tremendously after you made a comment on it.
I think so, and
it did.
And I'm gonna always support somebody that's supporting what I do, and Jonathan's been that guy. He a sheriff, I should say it. I'm not that way. That's not a disrespect to the sheriff.
Sheriff.
The high sheriff is good for this county, and he understands the value of the Berry Center.
So, coin show at the venue this weekend, by the way.
Oh, great!
Friday and Saturday at the venue, 9 to 4 both days.
Yeah. And see, that's that second part of that coin club. And look, they'll come in there and they will pack around my car where I can't even get in and go home. Some guns can't drive with a flip, but I'll tell you,
we won't talk
what
about
they will do is they've got a heart for our community.
Sure.
They give money every year to our library. They give money to their charities for sure, and then they give money to our police department and to our fire department.
Heck yeah.
And and they just show up, and these are big checks. These are checks that move the needle for our police department to be able to go out and buy the little giveaways, the swag.
Heck yeah.
For kids, the bracelets and the light up stuff and all the things that they're able to do, and I appreciate that coin club. They're a hard working bunch.
Any gluten-free options for Pancake Day?
Let's say no.
Okay. Also, hey, I want to say that was my wife text me. Good. Sorry, baby.
I don't know. Is sausage gluten free?
Yeah, sausage.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, all sausage, baby.
Are they?
Yeah, no, plenty. Anything good has gluten.
Yeah, we're gonna put you on some. We'll put you on those.
Almost. Never
sausage
mind. Let me just say also that I want to brag on Claire Jenkins.
Yeah.
So she dropped off. Got a message from her. She dropped off some a car seat and some baby stuff. I'm gonna be a grandfather coming up in July, and
big old time.
Yeah. She dropped off some extra stuff. It was pretty cool. So thank you, Claire.
Better get you 2 car seats. Want to keep in your car too.
Yep. Claire.
She's good people.
She's solid, man.
That's awesome.
And she likes me more than Jameson.
That's easy to do, right?
I mean,
it's understandable for sure, but I think it hurts Jameson a little bit. So he tries to play that whole, well, Rachel likes me more. No, she don't.
Yeah.
No, she don't.
Great question here, Mr. May. It's a random question. It says, will there be any kind of dog park, pet walking area at the new city recreation area?
We don't have one planned, but the problem with and this is going to probably offend people, and I get it. I mean, I offend people all the time. The problem is that area we've utilized every square inch of that area.
That's true.
and our first um, I'm trying to frame this, and I don't normally frame anything. What we wanted to make sure first was that we created quality of place, and that we're going to have a water feature there, which is a totally different type of planning. Having an outdoor venue, another totally different type of planning. And then if you look at the building itself, there's portions of that building that are we needed every square inch, because the building is so vast. We needed every square inch of parking, and so to add a pet park was going to be problematic. We do have a plan to add a pet park area at a city park, but again, that has to roll out, because the situation we're in right now is, I heard somebody say the other day, we hadn't done any upgrades to the park on Park Street. That's an absolute idiocy.
You got to drive by and look at it.
Yeah, because it has brand new pickleball, it has brand new fencing, it has brand new walking track, it has the equipment in there has been upgraded, it hasn't been replaced. It will be replaced as soon as we know, because at the end of the day, I have to know where the money is. Look, I'm not another city around here that has finance directors and accountants and all that stuff. This is your accountant. I do that along with my payroll and accounts payable lady. The three of us are in charge of every dollar that comes inside that building. And we do so much with so little. We're almost to the point where we can do everything with nothing at all. I mean, and that's the old saying, but it's really happening that way. So we're good stewards of your money, but I have to set priorities, and right now my priority is to finish this rec center and do our annual paving project. And but we're doing so many things at one time.
And wasn't there something already being done at Vivian Lee Maddox?
We just went through a whole refurbishment of all of our athletic fields.
That's right.
Except one, and that was the Rainbow Middle School football field, which we couldn't get a good idea of if that's going to stay that way. We didn't want to convert it to turf and then turn around and tear it back up. But met with Ray Cargill yesterday, who's a fabulous educator, and he is a grower of the young mind. And when you talk to that guy, and I'm sending this out to everybody that knows Ray Cargill, should be all over the internet talking about what a wonderful guy this is.
Right.
He and Allison Ramsey run Rainbow Middle School, but Ray and his wife are involved in every area of sports. But Ray and I were meeting about our track and trying to make sure that we've got everything put into that program to finish that track up, because we want to be able to run and exercise our kids in track as much as we are in soccer or baseball or whatever. But right now we just went through about a $7.2 million refurbishment of all of our parks, and I'm telling you, some of our parks are so good looking now that it's kind of hard to sit there and watch the game without just looking at the field.
Did I notice on the drone shot of we call it Pioneer Campground, Vivian Lee? Is there a high school field over there, or a size field too? Because it's a bigger one.
Yes. Wow. Yes, actually, we've got a high school size field that we turfed and did new fencing, dugouts, and lighting. And we didn't just put turf down. We did all new lighting. We did new fencing. We did new netting, and we just kind of did the total complete refurb of every one of our parks. And people can say, well, they love the way Albertville did theirs, and I'm not knocking that, because that was a $100 million project. But I think we probably got more bang for the buck, because in our case we have spread out our fields, which allows for adequate parking, which is a struggle in Albertville. And I think we just did it the right way. We kind of put soccer where soccer needs to go. We've got track where it needs to go, baseball where it needs to go, and we now have a championship softball field as well up on top of the hill at the old rec center. And that's the prettiest field in Etowah County.
I drive up there and see that. 'Cause that was the old
Back in the day.
Back in the day,
Yeah.
you know. Let's go up there and play home run derby.
Exactly
at that.
That's
Right.
right. That's right. And we put a green monster in the.
Did
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, it's cool. The whole thing about the place is cool. Westbrook ended up
Check that out.
leasing that field for us for their girls softball season, and so they went in and put some
That's
money
awesome.
into it and put in a really nice locker room for their girls. You know, so we've got a true home dugout, and then we have an away dugout. But if you'll wait until about Thursday and go up there and check that place out, because by then we'll have all of that old gravel parking lot is all going to pavement today.
Wow.
And so yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we'll have all of that paved out, and we'll have all of those areas cleaned up. And the old championship field that's right there at the old rec, man, it's so cool. It looks
Heck
so
yeah, I'm
good.
excited to go over there.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, seeing those fields, because I've always been a baseball man, and coached a little baseball here and there, and that was the one that I really wanted to see, because that's the one that can move our it changes our income, because people in whether travel ball, rec ball, and we're committed to both here. We're finding out that it allows for our revenues to go up, which allows for me to return you back great services and great areas for you to carry your family.
All right. Wow.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of information.
And we didn't even scratch the surface.
No. A lot of things we need to talk about.
Yep.
But this has already been an hour as always.
Yes.
So, any last words?
I think we missed our hour. That's what it was. We had to make up. So I had to talk fast.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yep.
That's right. We
He's got a lot of energy
Keep going,
now
keep
that he's
going,
skinny. Skinny Joe talks a lot.
Skinny Joe talks.
Maybe an hour and a half show.
And my voice is a little sexier. I don't know if y'all
It sounds
know.
a little bit like Barry White.
I think it's the pollen.
I think it's coming.